Monday of the 6th week of Easter.
A reading from the Acts of the Apostles. We set sail from Troas, making a straight run for Samothrace, and on the next day to Neapolis, and from there to Philippi, a leading city in that district of Macedonia and a Roman colony. We spent some time in that city. On the Sabbath, we went outside the city gate along the river, where we thought there would be a place of prayer. We sat and spoke with the women who had gathered there. One of them, a woman named Lydia, a dealer in purple cloth, from the city of Thyatira, a worshiper of God, listened. And the Lord opened her heart to pay attention to what Paul was saying. After she and her household had been baptized, she offered us an invitation. If you consider me a believer in the Lord, come and stay at my home. And she prevailed on us. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, "The Lord takes delight in his people." Sing to the Lord a new song of praise in the assembly of the faithful. Let Israel be glad in their Maker. Let the children of Zion rejoice in their King. The Lord takes delight in his people. Let them praise his name in the festive dance. Let them sing praise to him with timbrel and harp. For the Lord loves his people, and he adorns the lowly with victory. The Lord takes delight in his people. Let the faithful exult in glory. Let them sing for joy upon their couches. Let the high praises of God be in their throats. This is the glory of all his faithful. Alleluia. The Lord takes delight in his people.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to his disciples, "When the Advocate comes, whom I will send you from the Father, the Spirit of truth who proceeds from the Father, he will testify to me. And you also testify because you have been with me from the beginning. I have told you this so that you may not fall away. They will expel you from the synagogues. In fact, the hour is coming when everyone who kills you will think he is offering worship to God. They will do this because they have not known either the Father or me. I have told you this, so that when their hour comes, you may remember that I told you." The Gospel of the Lord.
Monday of the 6th week of Easter. The first reading comes from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 16, verses 11 to 15. We hear that Paul and his party sail from Troas. Now, Troas is the ancient Troy. This is on the Asian side of the Bosporus. And they sail to the other side to reach Neapolis and then Philippi. These are cities within Europe. Remember how Paul had the dream that a Macedonian called him to preach in Europe, and now he has followed the promptings of the Spirit. He's gone there. And on the Sabbath, he preaches at a place where the people prayed outside the city. In fact, there's a river just outside the city, and we believe that's the place where Paul preached in those days. He meets Lydia, a dealer in purple cloth. Now, the fact that she's selling purple cloth means she must be incredibly rich. Purple was a very rare color. It was made by the crushing of small mollusks that grew in the sea alongside of Lebanon. So it was very expensive, usually only worn by emperors, kings, and the senators had a robe that had a band of purple. So this was a woman who was very rich. She invites Paul to preach to her household and to stay at her house. Now remember, in the early church, they didn't really have church buildings. They would be household churches. So that's exactly what she's inviting Paul to do. There's no indication here that she was going to be the leader of the community, although some people suspect that that's what's going on. Remember, in the writings of Luke, women play very important roles in the growth of the community. Women are mentioned very often in the Gospel and in Acts. We just don't know the exact role that Lydia played in the growth of this community. The Gospel is from John 15:26 to 16:4a. Jesus speaks about sending the Advocate, the Spirit of Truth. Remember, the Greek word is parakletos, which has a whole series of meanings: counselor, advocate, consoler, intermediary. And the Spirit would testify to Jesus. The Spirit is the Spirit of love between the Father and the Son, and also the Spirit of truth, because if we live in love, then we'll live in the truth. The Spirit will give testimony and will also give testimony. Because the Spirit resides in our heart, then we will know the truth and be able to share it with others. We'll have the courage to be able to do that. This doesn't mean that everything will go well. In fact, quite the opposite. Those who kill Jesus will also try to kill those who follow him, because they reject the love, they reject the message that he is sharing. It doesn't mean that we've done something wrong when we suffer for the faith. Rather, it's almost an accreditation that God trusts us so much, he would allow us to share in the passion that his Son experienced. Why does the world do this? Because it doesn't know Jesus and the Father. But the Spirit who resides in our hearts reveals to us who God is, and it helps us to live in that relationship. So even though they can kill us, they will never really harm us. No matter what they can do to us externally, internally, we are one with Jesus and the Father. And may God bless us.